Ron, I'm going to ask you to jump in a minute. But what else happens is that when it goes that long, then there's the awkwardness of, okay, how do we start again?
Right.
It's, there's got to be a reconnection on different levels. It's kind of like that first date all over again. It's just, there's a lot of layers that go into true intimacy. Ron, what would
Yes.
you offer Anthony?
One of the things that my wife and I practice is that intimacy is a kind and type of worship with God. And so we have a conversation about how we celebrate the love of God through our intimacy, and that my body is not mine and hers is not hers, but we belong together in Christ. And we actually have Christian music. We celebrate the unity of God within our union. And so maybe if you can get her to look at it as a spiritual fellowship rather than the pressure of sexual performance, it may lessen the rigidity and the rejection that may be there.
Yeah, and that the other part of that too is that now you guys are in this kind of, she's kind of the bad person because she's not going along with this. You're the frustrated person because you're not, and so there's this kind of standoff. One of the things that we talk.
Yeah.
One of the things we talk about at the intimacy and marriage workshop is having those conversations in a structured way. Mylan and Kay Yurkovich's book, How We Love, talks about that, the comfort circle and being able to be heard and kind of undoing some of those really stuck places and to find a mutual ground where you can be real and be honest and open.
Can I ask how old you guys are, if that's okay?
Yeah, we're in our 30s. So
Okay.
we're
All
young
right.
stallions.
Yes, you are.
And do you have young children?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I know, during the young child years, that
boy.
often wanes for moms where they're,
Yeah, it
they
does.
get into that maternal preoccupation. And in a sense, as a mom, you fall in love with your baby, right? But it by no means is dad meant to be left out of that. And so, when I hear there's a breakdown in physical intimacy, there's usually always a breakdown in emotional intimacy. And so you guys may think that, Guy, we get along great, we're doing all these great things, but you may not know that there's more to be had in that arena. And, women need to feel emotionally safe and connected. Like you're
Yeah.
on our team before we're going to trust you with our bodies. And it's different for men. And so I hear this dance where, if I ask her, I'm going to get rejected.
Right.
And then, and so that's about your feelings of rejection versus how can I connect with my wife's heart? What's going on for her? What are her struggles each day? And really the foreplay to sexual intimacy is all the things you do all day long.
That's right.
Right? To be concerned about her and to care about her world.
Can I give you my Barry White voice in my sexual therapy class? You want to turn your wife on, fold the laundry, mop the kitchen floor, put away the dishes,
Help
make
with the
the
children.
bed. I'm telling you.
You're not
You'd be
lying.
surprised. Those are the things.
Yep.
It's not all the other stuff, man.
It's
It is
like-
helping. It is serving. It is taking the pressure of life off of her shoulders so she can even think about intimacy. There's so many things going on. So I'm telling you, get busy mopping that floor and folding those laundry clothes, man.
I completely agree with you, and not to sound like Debbie Downer, but I have listened to this radio show for a long time, and
Okay, so you've gotten
I've
that.
done that, like to the
All right.
point where it's like I do everything possibly.
Okay, so Anthony,
All
I
right.
think that you guys need to attend our intimacy and marriage workshop, right? Because I think, I hear so many people, they think they've tried everything and they go to that and their eyes are opened.
Well, and I
Amen.
wonder, Anthony, have
Yeah.
you guys had anyone like a counselor? Have you guys, the two of you, set with a third party, a counselor who can help you with this?
No, we have not.
Okay,
that's huge.
And you know what?
Yeah.
Here's the other thing, Anthony. I hear your heart. I hear
Yeah.
you're sad right now, and I know that you're frustrated, and this is difficult. And one of the things, just kind of like what Ron was saying, our intimate life, our physically intimate life in marriage is the one thing that really separates us from everybody on the planet. It's you and your spouse. And when this is breaking down, your heart is broken because you really want to connect with her that way. And because you had that connection before, you know that it's possible. So you're grieving the loss of that. There's a lot of emotions that are involved with that. Do you have a copy of How We Love?
No, I don't.
Okay, we're going to send you a copy of How We Love. And Anthony, here's the thing. Don't give up hope.
That's right.
And know that it's a process, that you guys are going to need help. If you stay on the line, we'll connect you with a counselor in your area that works, those steps like that Mylan and Kay speak about in How We Love. We have a lot of counselors in our network that are very familiar with that. And it can make all the difference in the world, like you said, Jill. It's pretty powerful.
Right. It is. And I think, it's important, Anthony, for both of you to care about this. And so I think there's a lot of humbling to be done, and you can approach it by, my goal is not sex. My goal is to be closer to you, to know you better, to love you as God would have me love you. And I want to learn how to do that.
One last word. Think of the word intimacy. In-to-me-see. That's what you want to get to for her. I just want to get to know you better, and this is part of it.
Do you know, it's funny, now you guys are going to think I'm crazy when I say this, but I actually, over the years in my practice, there would be couples that would be in this situation.
Yes.
We'd talk about these things, and we'd actually set up a date for sex, which sounds crazy, but what happens is the person who wants that knows that they don't have to ask.
Right.
The person who doesn't want it knows that there's only going to be one day
that
they're going to have to focus on that.
Right.
But then they do a lot of preparation for that. But here's the end of the day, it's not always going to be like that, but you've got to do some things different.
Mechanically.
Exactly. So thanks for calling, Anthony. We hope that helps you. We're going to talk to Anne, who's calling us from Ontario, Canada. We're so glad you are calling us. How are you today, Anne? Oh, can you turn down your radio, please?
Or off.
Or off.
I'm not
Go
on
ahead.
the radio. I'm just on my phone.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We heard ourselves echoing.
We sure did, but we are ready to listen to you, and I know you listen on our app, and we're so glad that you do. How can we help you today, Anne?
I just want to know how to deal with my grandson's mother. Over the years, we have had so much up and down, and it seems to be getting worse. The child is just 2, and it seems that our relationship is getting worse, and I would very much like our relationship to be better because of my grandson.
Okay.
So the thing is, she gets upset over things. She would plan things with my son and the child, and if she doesn't get her way, then everything is canceled. And when this happens, I find myself in the midst of it because she includes me, whereas my son will not tell me anything. She will call and complain and say all kinds of things and whatever. And when I give her my opinion about it, then she's not happy about it. She gets really upset. The last time what happened was when for the birthday we were not able to see the child. She cut us out of the birthday celebration, and then afterwards she called me and was trying to get a conversation going with me, but then she went back to my son saying how my son is not doing what he's supposed to do as a father and this, that, and the other and whatever.
Okay.
And I was
right.
telling her, you can't tell him how to be a father. And she was so upset about that. She told me that I should stay out of my son's life. Don't advise him. Let him fall on his face and whatever because I'm not his wife.
Okay,
and I was
Anne.
so upset, and
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It sounds like a tricky relationship. Joe, what would you like to start with?
Well, and, first of all, I think the fact that she is calling you and just what you've described, she doesn't want your advice. I think you are in that position where you need to be, you're like a mother-in-law, right? And you need to just be someone who can hear her. She's calling you to vent. Right? And it sounds like she feels a bit powerless with your son. And so she, kind of goes around him and vents to you, maybe in hopes that somehow you'll impact him. And perhaps he isn't doing all that he needs to do, just, certainly not to her satisfaction. It's really normal to want to defend your child. Even when your children, when my children complain about each other to me, it's really hard not to defend the other child because you love your child and you accept them in spite of their faults. She's been hurt by him, even if it's a lot of her doing. She's been hurt by him. And so she's just wanting you to hear that. And so somehow you've got to figure out a way to not be defensive, to not be giving her advice, and just, I see how you could feel that way. I see why you're frustrated. And hear her because you want access to your grandchild. So you end up being a bit held hostage, and I'm sorry about that. It's a hard position to be in.
You can hear the music, but hold on, Ian, because we'll come back and we'll have Ron
Sure.
kind of speak into this. Relationships are tricky.
Yeah.
We're going to continue taking your calls, 1-800-229-3000, and you can watch us right now on YouTube. Our YouTube channel is New Life Ministries, and you can find this show as well as Steve's Going Deeper and all kinds of great videos that are just going to encourage you. So check it out there and subscribe so that you will let others know that we are out there. I know that one of the goals I have is that New Life would not be the best kept secret. And so if you're a listener right now and you follow us on any social media, share it with your friends. Let other people know there is life out there.
After I found the pornography on the internet, I said, you either get help or I have to leave this household.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle workshop can help.
Every Man's Battle, I fought it the whole week with my wife. Within 2 hours, you could have opened a book and showed me where my life has been ever since I was a little boy.
The Every Man's Battle workshop can be a trip to the sexual addiction emergency room. During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle workshop will be held online Saturday, December 5th. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
He said, this may have saved my life.
Every Man's Battle was a life-changing experience for me and a marriage-saving experience for me.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-NEWLIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back. I'm Becky Brown, and I'm with Dr. Ron Archer and Dr. Jill Hubbard, and we are talking with Ann, who is dealing with some family strife. And I was saying at the break, Ann, unfortunately, this is happening all over the world, and so it's great that you're calling. But Jill, you had one more thing.
Yeah, I had one more thought, Ann. I'm wondering if you could approach her and ask her if you and her could have your own relationship separate from your son. Meaning, instead of having everything be contingent on what he's doing, maybe you could see your grandchild without involving him. And, you kind of approach it like, I know he's not, stepping up to the plate and doing all he needs to do. He's an adult now and I can't really control him. But, I love my grandson. I care about you. And kind of get on her team, because you want access to that grandchild. You want to be in that grandchild's life. That is more important than any point of correction you have for her. And so I would work on that, creating an alliance with her, not to dish your son, but to be pro-grandchild, to be able to have exposure to your grandchild.
One of the practical methods.
I tried that with her, telling her of even my own experience, and that I understand her frustration, I understand her anger, I understand that, and I am there for her. Good. And then for one moment it is good, and it's like a sudden turnover. Yes. I don't know if she's bipolar or if she's having, I don't know, because it would be that one moment, even in our conversation, one moment we are so nice and everything is going on so nicely and we are talking and we are laughing, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, she would just turn on me and get mad and start.
So she's very reactive and is led by her feelings. So it's a roller coaster.
Let's hear what Ron has to say.
Yeah, one of the things I want you to always remember is that she has a tattoo across her forehead. And that's what she's calling you. It's MMFI, make me feel important. And we use a method called PAR, probe with questions to seek understanding before being understood. Align to validate her reality. Just keep validating her feelings, her frustrations. Don't judge. Don't try to fix it. Don't try to correct it. Just let her vent to you, and you say, yeah, I understand. And then you want to raise the relationship to a new level of safety and trust and intimacy, and love her without conditions. Unconditional love is powerful and transformational, that she knows she has a safe, stable place to come to vent, and you just take it, grow with it, and let her be validated.
What do you think about that, Ann?
Yeah, I think that's a good. I have been trying that. Maybe I'm not trying it hard enough, because I've been trying.
Well, and here's the thing. The goal isn't that you're going to win every single time, because if she's reactive, you are going to be caught off guard. So just expect that. But also, the great thing is, like Jill said, if you can have influence in your grandchild's life as well as her life, that is going to be the greatest thing. And I just want to encourage you as you continue on this path. Oh, go ahead. Ron's got one.
Do you have a spiritual relationship with her, like a Bible study or a prayer time where you guys pray together? Sometimes you can build spiritual intimacy that will build the relationship. Do you guys do any kind of devotional or prayer time in your relationship?
No, she's not a Christian. I am. So I am seeking help, because I don't want to push her, and I don't want to force my Christian relationship on her. I tell her all the time that I love her and I'm praying for her. I look at her as a daughter and everything. And sometimes she accepts it, and sometimes she just smiles.
And that's okay.
So I do that. I still pray for her. It was her birthday this month, and I sent her a happy birthday and whatever. She just looked at it, and
that's
there
wonderful.
was no response.
That's wonderful. Well, Ann, we're going to send you a copy of the Restoration Bible. There's some great devotionals in there that I think are going to encourage you as you continue in this relationship. That is so powerful. And it's, all of us have these folks in our lives.
Yes,
and
we do.
at different times in our life. It's not all the time, but it can be a challenge always. And so we want you to know we're praying for you. And I think that that's going to be helpful in the long run. Right now we're going to talk to Joe, who's calling us from LA and listens to KKLA. Hi, Joe. How can we help you today?
Yes. Hi. Good morning. My question to start off with is how can I find a clinician that is that studies and works and is an expert in the brain?
Well, you called the right place. We have a real good connection with Dr. Daniel Amen, who we know that he has helped so many people, and that would probably be a good first step. We have, you can hear the music, Joe, and we're going to go to a break in a minute. And actually, we have that workshop this weekend, the Brains, Boundaries, Battles in the Bible workshop. And it's this Saturday. It would be a great day. If you want more information, you can go to newlife.com/Brains, Boundaries, Battles in the Bible. Actually, it's /BBBB. How about that for an abbreviation? We also are doing our EMB workshop this weekend, Every Man's Battle. So we'll be right back in just a second.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of 7 books, including Conquer Worry and Anxiety by Dr. Daniel Amen, Healing is a Choice by Steve Arterburn, and Forgiving What You'll Never Forget and Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life, both by Dr. Dave Stu. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back. You're talking with Becky Brown, Dr. Ron Archer, Dr. Jill Hubbard, and we are talking to Joe, who had a question about how does the brain work in when you've got anger issues. I think that was where you were going, right, Joe?
Yes, that was where I was going. And to give a little bit of background, so I was born with a mild case of cerebral palsy and epilepsy.
Okay.
And after 5 months of my birth, I had a high fever of 100 degrees, and it caused me to have a stroke. And for the past, I would say, ever since that day, I began having seizures after my stroke, and then my last seizure was in '97. So I've been seizure-free for 20 years.
That's great.
Now, yes. So now I've been feeling with the pandemic and everything a little bit frustrated, stressed out, and a bit of anguish of anger. So I was hoping to get like a referral or a recommendation to a clinic that can go deeper into my brain as to why I'm acting this way, you know?
Okay. It's a great question. And Jill, you can start and know
Well,
that
go ahead.
We're going to help you. Go ahead, Joe.
So, Joe, I think you're asking really good questions, and I think it's twofold. You have these medical issues that certainly you want to see how that impacts your emotional state. But you know what? I think you're really not alone. I don't think all of this is directly related to those medical issues. I think there are so many people anguishing right now, and that the amount of isolation, and we were talking about that, or you guys were talking about that at the beginning of the show, just the huge impact on people. And so, you know, besides getting the expert, you know, input that you're wanting, I think excuse me, to increase some things in your life, which would be you have to have some form of connection during this time. To completely isolate creates other problems, even if you're staying safe from the pandemic. So you kind of have to weigh those out, the risk and the benefit. And so to have, you know, do you have people in your life, Joe? Do you have a supportive community?
Yeah, I do have my family close by, but since the COVID-19 happened, I've been more isolated all by myself. I do get to meet my mother on weekly basis, but since I live alone and I'm kind of a loner because of my disability, like I'm more isolated than ever, you know?
You know, two of the things that affect our brain the most is anxiety and isolation. And what you just described, Joe, are those two things. And the other thing is your brain's working really hard because of the cerebral palsy and because of the epilepsy. Even though you've been seizure-free, I assume that you're taking medication. Is that correct?
I used to take Tegatrol for the seizures, but the last time I took Tegatrol was in 2002 because the doctor told me that I was I didn't have any other seizures since then.
That's wonderful.
That's why. Yeah, that's why I've been seizure-free for 20 years now.
That's wonderful. Well, so Jill's talking right in the right area. This is going to be a process where you have to find connection. And even though we're not meeting in person, fortunately, there's a lot of folks that are meeting online in Zoom, and a lot of churches that are doing ministry that way. And I think that would be a good next step for you. I also think if you're not working with a counselor already, that could be a process that you could get involved with.
Right, and that's what he's asking, right?
Yeah, and we will connect you with somebody.
Well, yeah, and you know what? You don't need, you said you're a loner, okay, and I understand because of your disabilities, but everybody needs somebody. Even loners need a couple other people. And, you know, sometimes having something in your week, like a little mini support group, and maybe it's just one or two other people that you can count on every week, like, you know, like a certain Zoom time where you can share, or you read a book together, you do something. It starts to create community over time, because when we have that repeated exposure to people, things change. We start to trust them over time. We start to share more of ourselves. And that's a really important piece to have in anybody's life, even a loner. And it has to be beyond your family. I'm grateful you have a supportive family. You get to see your mom. But you need that other small piece added to your life. And so, you know, if you can, you know, if there isn't one that exists, you can create it. I've done that numerous times in life, where I pull a few people together and ask them if this is a good time in their life to have a, you know, a weekly time together, just like an hour.
Even in nature, it shows us when. Go ahead.
Oh yes. Thank you, doctor. So I'm 33 years old, and I think the problem is that I'm not able to surround myself around my age group because of fear of rejection because of my disability. So I guess that's became into a antisocial kind of mentality.
There are so many places out there, though, Joe. My son has a disability. He doesn't have cerebral palsy, but you're right that there's an isolation that comes into play when you hit those years where everybody in your age group kind of went on and did their thing. And so you have to look for ways in order to connect. In some ways, the church can be a very helpful place. I know that it's a risk. There are a lot of opportunities that are offered by county disability services that will have groups that you can connect with. But there are so many things, and I think then the next step will be to connect you with a counselor who can maybe help you with some help on the ground right there in your area. But Ron, what did you want to say to Joe?
One of the things that helped me, I was an abused kid. I had emotional difficulties. I was a stutterer, a bedwetter, and I just thought nobody's like me, nobody can understand me, was the power of not just connecting, but sometimes being a mentor yourself to somebody who may be challenged and may have difficulties. The freedom, the joy, the peace, the purposefulness that you get out of serving someone else can alleviate that isolationism, that sense of aloneness, and that terminal uniqueness. Always remember, in nature, when birds are threatened, they flock, sheep, they herd, fish, they school, and people tend to split. Yeah. Sometimes serving others worse off than you can be a blessing.
Right. And
it's
Joe,
a great idea.
I think that's a great idea. And I know that there are students in the younger, like in high school, that are all, they're all on Zoom now. And so there's some way, but I do think the next step is that counselor who's right there.
Right. And Becky, though, you brought up something really important. So looking to a community of people that maybe have similar issues as you, which you can find through your doctor or through services, right? That's one source of support, people who are in the same boat. Right. There's also, seeking out, like Ron, you were saying, a mentor. I actually have a friend who mentors someone with cerebral palsy. I'm stuck on that word. And he goes over to that gentleman's house every week, and they have this beautiful friendship, and he helps him with things he can't do, and they talk.
And it reminds me always too, Jill, that for so many people who are struggling with depression and isolation, one of the things that we encourage them to do is find a way to help somebody else.
That's the key.
It really does make a difference. Yeah. And it's not the fix it. It's not like,
No.
But speaking of Mr. Fix-It, Larry Sonnenberg's with us in the studio.
She's been taking lessons from Steve.
She has been, yeah.
She's got those segues down.
This is scary.
Hi, Larry.
Hey, Becky.
What do you have for us today?
Well, I want to share a testimony here. Sharon wrote, I have listened to your program for many years. It's helped me in so many ways. When I first started listening, I was going through a divorce. In addition to the biblical counseling I received, you guys were my free therapists for years. From listening to the broadcast, I learned how to set boundaries, stand up for what is right, and to have an opinion. Every time I tune in, I learn something new. I've benefited so much from this program. You guys are transforming lives and giving hopes to millions.
Why are you
laughing? I'm laughing because...
He's laughing because he's thinking, they must have been listening on a day that I was on, because I got all kinds of opinions.
The opinion, but that made me think of Becky, yes.
Great.
Well, I just want to encourage folks, this is why we do what we do. And she said she got free therapy. We were her free therapist for years.
We're all tongue-tied today.
It wasn't free. It cost us $2 million a year to put this program on.
That's right.
Good point.
So, folks, if you can help support that, it's Giving Tuesday today. We have a match, $200,000. We've probably got, $30,000, $40,000 close to being matched now. So help us complete it, please. We need to get that match.
Amen.
And
and you can call us. 800-NEW-LIFE. You can go to newlife.com, click that donate button. You can, what other ways? You can go to the app and you can donate there. There's all ways that we'll take your gifts and
There's a lot of
use
ways.
them for so many people that need our help. Thanks so much, Larry.
Okay.
And we're going to be back in just a minute taking your calls.
Hi, this is Sheila Walsh. Do you find yourself at the end of this year just worn out? Perhaps you find yourself so weary you don't know how to move forward. I want to invite you to a very special, unique one-day event on December the 5th called Brains, Boundaries, Battles, and the Bible. It will be my privilege to teach the sessions on the Bible. I want you to understand that the strength you're looking for, the peace that you're looking for, the hope you're looking for is found in the strength of the Word of God, the living Word of God. So please, will you join us on December the 5th? You simply have to call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Psalm 34 tells us the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Join us. Let's move into a new year with new strength in Jesus.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again.
You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back. We are taking your calls. So if you are listening right now and you're thinking, I wonder what Jill, Ron, and Becky would say about this, now's your chance. You can call us at 1-800-229-3000. Now, Jill's laughing, but you know good and well, we are able to help so many people, and your question may help other people who are listening, because we, just like what Larry said, we have so many people that listen and actually learn from what the other callers' questions are. So we want to encourage you, if you are just kind of like your heart's beating in your chest thinking, oh, I really need to know the answer to this, call us, 1-800-229-3000. I'm going to take a quick call here from Linda, who has a comment about Anthony's call earlier this hour. She's calling from Pensacola, Florida, listens on KTRJ. Hey, Linda, what did you want to share with us?
Hi, good morning, everyone. You guys are wonderful. I was listening to Anthony, and I was thinking about a situation. I was in a Bible study with a woman who, in the midst of, how women share, came to confess that she also had terrible intimacy struggles with her husband. And looking at them, you'd think that they were just the model couple. And they traced it all back, and they got some counseling from a pastor. And what came forward was that she had been molested as a teenager by her cousin. And that although she and her current husband, her only husband, had been sexually active before marriage, after they got married, that problem that she had never dealt with, the sexual abuse, seemed to be a blockade to her relationship intimately with her husband. So that's my comment when I was listening to Anthony, thinking, maybe that would be a possibility. No one suggested that. I'm not a counselor. I was just wanting to share.
But you've been listening. You've been listening, Linda, because you're absolutely right. And that was one of the reasons why we thought, if they get with a counselor, that they may be able to uncover that. So, but thank you for calling.
Right.
We're going to send you a copy of the Restoration Bible as well. I think that is such an important thing, that what is on the surface, whatever the issue is, there's stuff underneath that surface that needs to be dealt with. And so
the iceberg principle, right? Most of what's there is not seen.
Right,
it's
exactly. Exactly. Thanks so much, Linda, for listening and for calling too. We're going to continue taking calls. So call us at 1-800-229-3000. But we are going to talk to Patricia right now, who's calling us from Denver, Colorado on station KGFT. And So glad you called. Patricia, how can we help you today?
Hi. In a nutshell, I have a daughter who is planning on getting married, and she is planning on marrying another woman. I am also, I'm wondering whether I should attend as her mother the wedding. And to add to that, I am also in ministry, looking at going deeper into ministry, and so I'm not sure what I should do.
That is a tough question, and we've had this before, Patricia. It's a really difficult thing. Jill, do you want to start?
Sure. Yes, Patricia, I can see where it might feel complicated because of being in ministry and wanting to be an example. But I think we have to use Christ as our example. And, we have to ask ourselves, okay, what's the message we want to give to our daughter and to people, right? There's certainly truth that has to be discussed, and I'm imagining that your daughter knows your position and feelings. Yes. Okay. And so you've been able to share with her, have dialogue, and be clear about that. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So in that, then, okay, she's choosing to do something that is the antithesis of what you perhaps would want for her. But she is your daughter. And how do we, in a sense, just like in this country, reach across the aisle and show love without looking like we're condoning the act? And, I think, and Ron, you probably have some good input on this as well. I think, we express the truth, but then we also offer grace. And so you would have to get to a place where being there for your daughter was not about the content of condoning what she's doing, but saying, in spite of our differences, I love you and want to have relationship with you. And see, because you want to keep an open dialogue with her, right? Because as things perhaps break down, you want to be the one that she comes to. But it's a tricky thing, and I think there are opinions all across the board, because I could probably make a case for not going.
Right.
Right, as well.
As a pastor over many churches, we have a rule that when you come across these very challenging social issues, we err on the side of love, mercy, and grace, that we want to win the soul of the individual. We don't condone the activity or the sin, if we may call it, but we love the person, and we're going to love you and love you and love you. And we call that the non-judgment zone at that time. You still have your standards, you still have your principles, but the greater virtue is always love and mercy and grace.
Yeah, and Patricia, I think your heart is in the right place. You obviously have a connection with your daughter, which is priceless. It's priceless. And I hope that that's helpful. Did you have any other questions that you wanted to clarify, or does that make sense?
Just one more, possibly. In the ministry, though, as far as people coming against me or in judgment for should I decide to attend, how do I address that?
I would say go back to Jesus' principle where he says, you may not like the sin, but you love the sinner. And Jesus himself broke so many sociological rules. Remember the story of the woman at the Samaritan well, the well? She was a Samaritan. She was a dog, according to the Jews. How dare you talk to this woman? And Jesus wanted to connect and create a bridge, and they met at a common place, Jacob's well, because they both came from the lineage of Jacob. So your first responsibility is to share the good news, not just in word, but in deed. What would Jesus do? He would be there loving that young lady. And
Patricia, what I think is that the folks that are judging you, that's their problem. And I know that sounds very easy to say, but if you're in an organization where there's going to be a problem because of this choice, there may be a problem with the organization. And now I know I'm going to get heat for that, but it's the example of Jesus. He ate with sinners and tax collectors and murderers and all kinds of things. So
right. Well, and you may want to go to your board of elders, and talk to them about it and say, this is my position, and if you need to put out a statement, do that so that they all are on board with where you're coming from.
And as a leader and as a pastor I've been for many years, there's many ways to succeed, but one sure way to fail, trying to please everybody.
So true. So true. Well, we're so glad you called, Patricia, and I know that there are other listeners that are having to deal with those kind of tricky situations. I'm going to send you a Restoration Bible as well. I'm giving out Bibles left and right today.
Like the Gideon.
But I can tell you, that particular Bible with those devotionals has been so powerful. And, going back to the way we began the show today is we're in a time of weariness, and we want to be the world that rejoices. And so as we close this out, Ron, do you have any hope that you would like to offer our listeners today?
I do. My whole family were atheists. They didn't believe in God. They hated the Bible. They hated church. God saved me first in my family, and I shared the good news, not just in the Word, but in my life. And every time I loved them, they came to know Jesus Christ. So keep hope alive, because God is real and prayer changes things.
Amen. And we'll hang on. We got more to go.
We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And I'll see you next time.